"You're a coward who can't handle the truth," she said after I caught her with my best friend. So I calmly walked out the door and never spoke to her again. Turns out, it was just a bet for him. Now she's broke after he dumped her, and my phone keeps buzzing with her desperate texts. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I'm a planner. A practical, detail-oriented planner. Not in a rigid, controlling way, but in a way that believed a solid foundation was the key to a happy future. That's what I loved about my life with Sarah. For 5 years, we'd been meticulously building a life together, living in a cozy apartment, putting away money every month for a down payment on a house. The goal was to have a comfortable life, free from the constant stress of living paycheck to paycheck, and I thought she wanted that just as much as I did. My best friend, Mark, had been a part of that picture for just as long, a good-natured third wheel who I trusted with everything. My job in logistics was demanding, but it provided well for us. When my boss offered me a major promotion, it came with a stipulation: a 3-week business trip out of state to oversee a new project launch. The new role meant a significant salary increase and enough of a bonus to finally afford the down payment we'd been saving for. I told Sarah, "This is it. This trip is for us. When I get back, we can finally start looking at houses." She smiled and hugged me, but looking back, there was a strange, distant flicker in her eyes I couldn't quite place. I chalked it up to her being sad about me leaving, and I foolishly let it go. The trip was grueling. It was 14-hour days in sterile conference rooms, followed by lonely nights in generic hotel rooms. But I worked hard, fueled by the thought of coming home to her. I made sure to call her every night, even if it was just for 5 minutes before I passed out. But as the days wore on, the conversations grew shorter and more perfunctory. Her texts went from long, heartfelt messages to one-word answers. When I'd ask her about her day, she'd just say it was fine and change the subject. I'd ask her if she was okay, and she'd laugh it off. "I'm just busy, Alex. Stop being so paranoid." I trusted her completely, so I let it go. My best friend, Mark, wasn't much help either. I'd text him asking if he'd been checking in on her, but he would give me vague answers. Looking back, I was an idiot. I was so focused on building our future that I was blind to the fire burning down my present. The final week of my trip, I was on a video call with another buddy from our friend group, Liam. He was telling me about a party he'd been to over the weekend, and a casual sentence from him made my entire world stop. "Man, I saw Sarah out with Mark the other night at that bar we used to go to. You guys were having a great time. I figured you were back from your trip early." My stomach dropped into my shoes. My heart started pounding in my chest. "I'm still out of town, Liam. What are you talking about?" He looked confused. "Oh, my bad. My mistake. They looked pretty cozy, I just assumed." Mark was all over her, buying her drinks and everything. My blood ran cold. I made a quick excuse and hung up the call. I immediately checked Sarah's social media. There it was. A picture of her and Mark, all smiles, in a park I immediately recognized from a trip we had taken a few months prior. They were standing way too close. Their shoulders were touching. His hand was on the small of her back. The picture was clear, and it was a gut punch. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely dial her number. "Hey, what's up?" she answered, her voice chipper. Too chipper. "Where were you last night, Sarah?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. "I'm just at a friend's place." "Why?" she replied, her tone immediately becoming defensive. "Liam saw you at the bar with Mark," I said, my voice cracking a little. "And I saw the picture you posted. So don't lie to me." Her voice went from dismissive to aggressive in an instant. "I knew this would happen. I knew you'd be a psycho about it. You want the truth? Fine. We were together. But it's not cheating. We were on a break," she screamed into the phone. I stood there stunned. "A break? Sarah, we never talked about a break. I've been calling you every single night for 3 weeks." She scoffed. "You were gone, Alex. I was lonely. And Mark, he gets me. He understands what I need. He understands how to have fun. You're always so focused on your future that you forgot about the now. You forgot about me." What was I supposed to do? Just sit here and wait for you like some kind of sad little puppy? Her words were like daggers, twisted to make me feel like I was the villain, the one who had abandoned her. She sounded smug, like she had already won, and that infuriated me more than anything. I just stood there, letting the words sink in. My mouth felt dry. The promotion, the house, the future, it all felt like a joke now. A bad joke I had told myself for 5 years. I said a final, quiet word. I understand. I'm coming home. I hung up before she could say another word, the line going dead, just like my feelings for her. I caught the next flight back home. I didn't text her. I didn't call her. I didn't rage. My mind was eerily quiet, the shock of it all having numbed any emotional response. When I unlocked the door to our apartment, she was sitting on the couch, looking nervous. The place, which I had once called home, now felt like a stranger's house. I walked past her, went to my room, and grabbed my suitcase. I started packing. Not furiously, but methodically. Just my clothes. No pictures from our trips. No keepsakes. Nothing we had bought together. I didn't want to feel a thing. The pain was there, a dull, heavy ache in my chest, but it was being overshadowed by a quiet, cold clarity. The man I had been was gone, replaced by someone who was done with her and the life we had planned. I was closing a file, not mourning a death. Sarah followed me into the room, her voice a mix of pleading and anger. Alex, what are you doing? This is our home. We can talk about this. Don't throw away 5 years because of a stupid misunderstanding. I didn't answer. I just folded a shirt and placed it in the bag. Please. I said I was sorry. I finally looked up at her, and she flinched. I must have looked like a stranger to her because that's exactly what she was to me. I don't need an apology, I said, my voice flat. I need to go. She kept talking, but I just tuned her out. The only sound in the room was the zipper of my suitcase. I walked out of the bedroom, past her, and towards the front door. She grabbed my arm, her touch feeling foreign and unwelcome. Alex, please, don't leave me. We can fix this. I simply pulled my arm away, opened the door, and walked out. I didn't look back. I got in my car and drove away, not knowing where I was going, but knowing I was finally free. Over the next few weeks, my world became small and quiet. I changed my number. I blocked Sarah and Mark on everything. I slowly and carefully began to prune our mutual friend group, unfollowing anyone who posted pictures with them or who was publicly taking her side. It was a tedious process, but it was cathartic. I moved to a different city and found a new job. For the first time in a long time, I was living for myself. I rediscovered my old hobbies, things I had let go of to make time for Sarah. I went hiking, I started painting again, and I even went to a few concerts alone. I was no longer a planner for two. I was a planner for one, and it was the most peaceful I had ever felt. Months went by, and I started a new, simple, and honest life. I was happy. I met a woman named Qley who made me laugh, and who didn't need me to sacrifice a part of myself to make her happy. She was kind and understanding, and I could tell her anything. One evening, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Jen, a mutual friend who had remained neutral and had been a great friend to me. She told me what had happened. Mark, my old best friend, had been doing it all as a bet. He and his other buddies had a competition to see who could steal the most committed girlfriend from another guy. He had won, and he had been bragging about it. When the news got out, their whole friend group turned on them. The girl he had been with for years dumped him on the spot. Sarah was now completely isolated, her reputation in tatters. She had to move back in with her parents after losing her job because of the scandal. She was now a pariah, the girl who got stolen for a bet. The irony was not lost on me. Soon after, the texts started. They were from different numbers, but I knew they were hers. Alex, please. I need to talk to you. I miss you. This was all a mistake. You have to believe me. I didn't know what Mark was doing. He manipulated me. Please, I need you to help me. Alex, this is your fault. You left me with nothing. My life is ruined because of you. I can't believe you would do this to me. I blocked every number. The calls started next. I ignored them, but then one day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize, and it was her sister. Alex, you need to talk to her. She's a mess, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. You're being so cruel. She made a mistake because you weren't there for her. You should have been a better boyfriend so she wouldn't have been lonely. I just listened to her for a few seconds. The audacity, the sheer gall of it all was almost comical. Then I calmly said, I'm not responsible for her choices or her consequences. I hung up and blocked her number, too. Her last attempt came a few weeks later. A call from yet another unknown number. This time, I could hear her sobbing. Alex, you're a monster. You ruined my life. I wish you had never left. The anger in her voice was still there, but it was now laced with desperation. I didn't say a word. I just hung up. She had become so irrelevant to me that her words didn't even hurt. They were just noise. A month later, Qley and I were at a mutual friend's wedding. It was a beautiful evening, with string lights draped over the patio and the sound of laughter filling the air. We were happy, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. I looked across the room and saw her. Sarah. She looked haggard and lost, standing alone in a corner, holding a drink, just watching. Our eyes met, and she started walking toward me. Qley noticed and squeezed my hand. "Do you know her?" she asked. I just smiled and shook my head slightly. Sarah walked up to me, her eyes full of tears. "Alex, I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. I miss you so much. I've been a wreck. Can we just talk?" I looked at her, then back at Qley, who was looking at me with a questioning expression. I then turned back to Sarah, but there was nothing there. Not anger, not pity, just nothing. I finally said, "I remember everything, Sarah. The choices you made, the things you said. But what I learned from it is more important than the memory itself. That chapter is closed." Her face fell. "But, Alex, we had 5 years. You can't just forget that. We had a life." I just smiled faintly, a genuine, peaceful smile, and looked at Qley. 5 years was the cost of a lesson I needed to learn. I'm glad I paid it. I'm with Qley now, and she's my future. You're just a part of my past. I took Qley's hand and walked away, back to the dance floor, leaving Sarah standing there, alone, with a single tear rolling down her cheek. I didn't think about her once for the rest of the night. She was gone. She was irrelevant. And my future was just getting started. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.